A desert planet with twin suns.
Why do I sense we've picked up another pathetic life form?
Use my knowledge. Much to learn. You still have.
Welcome back to Twin Sun Talks, folks. I'm your host, Jonah Liu. Thank you so much for listening. Happy New Year. Happy 2022 to all of you. And yeah, I'm excited to be entering this new year with y'all. And so today I have Alien Species from Star Wars That You Should Know, Volume 4. And yeah, I don't think there's too much more to add. Let's go ahead and dive into ARC Trooper training.
Gentlemen, who wants to be an ARC Trooper? I do, sir!
Alrighty, so today I'm going to be going over Quarren, Mon Calamari, Kaminoans, Ewoks, Ugnaughts, and Gamorreans. Not in that order. Mon Calamari is going to come before Quarren. I don't know why I said it like that. But they're still fairly prominently featured. But we're moving in, once again, I've said this a couple times, but we're moving a little more into obscurity, and by the end of this, we're going to be in a very obscure section of, I don't even know what to call it, Star Wars speciology. But first of all, starting out, I'm going to be talking about the Mon Calamari. So the Mon Calamari were an aquatic species native to Mon Cala. They speak basic. They have a very tense relationship with the Quarren, who they live in tandem with on Mon Cala, and they vaguely resemble goldfish. So if that gives you a little bit of a mental image, they have impressive military might as seen by the prominence of their ships in the Rebel Navy. And they have a very distinctive ship type that it's a lot sleeker. If you think of the Imperial ships, they're a lot more geometric with hard edges and like very distinct shapes. The Mon Calamari ships are very kind of fluid and kind of bulbous, and they have like softer edges and more rounded shapes. But members of the species include Admiral Akbar, of course, with his iconic line, "It's a trap." And then Nadar Veb, who was Kit Fisto's Padawan, who we get to spend a little bit of time with in the Clone Wars, and then Prince Lee Char, who of course was the crown prince of Mon Cala after his father was assassinated, and we get to see a cool little several episode arc about that whole debacle in I think it's the first 3 or 4 episodes of season 4 of the Clone Wars. It's a really cool episode because it's all set underwater. It's super cool and different. That's about all that I have to say about the Mon Calamari. Moving on to the Quarren. They were also an aquatic species, also native to Mon Cala, and also spoke basic, and they had a very tense relationship with the Mon Calamari. They resembled squids, so if you can think of the Star Wars species, they have orange skin as well, but they have like 4 tentacles on their face with like little beaks. Those are the Quarren. They are capable of producing ink from their mouths, or at least from their facial regions. And they went to war with the Mon Calamari after allying themselves with the Separatists in the wake of the ruling king's assassination. So, the ruling Mon Calamari king was assassinated, and the Quarren allied themselves with the Separatists with the hopes of having a Quarren king on the throne of Mon Cala rather than a Mon Calamari. And that all kind of went very poorly for everybody involved. But members of the Quarren species, and I should say that while the Quarren and Mon Calamari are both aquatic species, they are both able to survive outside of water. So I didn't know if that counted as semi-aquatic. I think, yeah, maybe amphibious. I don't know, but I think that originally they are at their core aquatic species. But members of the Quarren species include Noserai, who's kind of the main one in the Clone Wars arc that I was talking about, where the Quarren and Mon Calamari go to war with each other, and the fisherman who betrayed Din Djarin the Mandalorian in The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 3, whenever they get to the water planet. I don't remember what it's called. But whenever they reunite Frog Lady with her husband, and then they go looking for the other Mandalorians, they're on a boat with a bunch of Quarren who betray them, and then Bo-Katan comes and saves the day. So, but that planet is full of both Mon Calamari and Quarren. It's kind of cool. So, moving right along, we have Kaminoans. They have risen to great prominence recently in the new Star Wars canon. They are reclusive, highly evolved species native to Kamino. They were featured very prominently in The Bad Batch, which is an animated show that just aired last year now, 2021. They speak Basic and are galactically renowned cloners, but at the same time, not too many people know about them because they're such a backwater world. They genetically modified their own species to perfection over several generations. They are long-necked and concerned with profits and self-preservation. And they were commissioned to create a clone army on behest of the Republic by Sifo Dyas. And they're very distinct. I think that if you see them, they're the ones with the really long necks, and they kind of talk like this. They're very soft-spoken and very deliberate. And but it's pretty easy to tell who they are. And members of their species include Nala Se, who we meet in the Clone Wars, and then Lama Su and Tanwe, who we meet in Attack of the Clones, Episode 2, whenever Obi-Wan goes and visits Kamino to kind of investigate the assassination attempts on Queen Amidala, or Senator Amidala's life. Okay, so next up we have Ewoks. Ewoks are native to the forest moon of Endor. They speak Ewokese, and they are really cute and adorable. They look like giant teddy bears. They aid the rebels in fighting the Empire in the events surrounding the destruction of the second Death Star, and are formidable warriors which practice guerrilla tactics, and they actually allegedly eat the stormtroopers that they defeat. So, fun little fact there. I don't have too much else to say. They're really cute marketing tactics, but I rather enjoy them. I don't think there's anything wrong with kind of having little branding opportunities thrown into your movies, especially if they're cool and they work kind of the way they do. Except for the fact that it's kind of ridiculous that they're able to take down armored stormtroopers with like sticks and rocks, but like, hey, to each their own. But members of the Ewok species include Wicket, Tebow, and Chief Chirpa. And also, fun fact, most of the Ewoks were played by children, and Carrie Fisher, who played Princess Leia, would bring them like milk and cookies in between takes. It's kind of cute. Okay, so moving on, we got Ugnaughts. Ugnaughts were diminutive sentients. They speak, they were native to Gentes, and they speak Basic. They are known as being a very hardworking species, hired in many industries due to their reputation as devoted and loyal workers, first seen in Cloud City on Bespin in The Empire Strikes Back. Members include Krill and the workers who freeze Han Solo and Carbonite. Oh, there's one member of the species that's in Rebels who's working with Hondo, and I don't remember his name anymore. He's kind of funny. Here, let me look it up real fast. Back from Google, his name is Melch. So, that's another member of the species. But, yeah, they kind of look like little pigs almost. They kind of have, like, but, I mean, not to be confused with the next species I'm talking about, but they kind of look like pigs with the way that their noses are structured, and the way that their facial jowls kind of hang, kind of look like pigs. Anyways, not as much as this next species, which are Gamorreans, who are pig-like sentients, and they very much look like pigs. They are large, green-skinned brutes native to Gamor, and they speak Gamorrean. They are low in intelligence and high in strength. They are largely employed by Hutts as security and gladiator, and as well as gladiators as kind of entertainment. And we kind of see that all throughout Star Wars in either Return of the Jedi or the Clone Wars or the Mandalorian. Members include the guards at Jabba's palace and then the gladiators in Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1. So there's not too much to say about them. We have gotten to see a little bit more about them in The Mandalorian and now in the Book of Boba Fett a little bit. So that's exciting. I like when they kind of expound upon kind of background characters or background species a little bit more. But there's not too much to say about them. They were very tribal. They had like clan leaders back on their planet of Gamor. They're very, very primitive species. There's not too much else to add. That's about it. But that's about all that I have for the species. Let's dive into just a little bit more. Alrighty, so what I got for y'all today is that Mon Calamari are actually the species who performed Squid Lake, the bubble show that Anakin and Palpatine watch while Palpatine tells Anakin the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise in Revenge of the Sith. Whenever they're in the opera house and there's this really kind of weird show going on in the background that they're watching, and it's within this bubble, and they're like kind of these banners that are being waved around. Those are actually Mon Calamari swimming around in like a ball of water. So that's just kind of cool. I never knew what it was until I read it in my book, Obsessed with Star Wars, Test Your Knowledge of a Galaxy Far, Far Away, 2,500 Questions, which I plugged quite a bit on this podcast. That's where I get a lot of my mores from, just because it has a bunch of really obscure and kind of weird facts. But anyways, that's about all that I have for today's episode. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. If y'all want to go back and listen to my first, second, and third volumes of this series that I have going, which is Prominent Alien Species That You Need to Know in Star Wars, then you can go back and listen to episodes 41, 48, and 53, where I've gone over like Wookiees, Rhodians, Twi'leks, Hutts, Tusken Raiders, Trandoshans, Geonosians, Gungans, all that stuff. I've gone over a bunch so far. So make sure you go back and listen to that. Also, if you don't follow me on Instagram already, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I'm going through a 31-day Star Wars challenge that I made, and it's essentially just a way for my followers to get to know me better and for me to get to know y'all better. Where I've been this is going to be day 3. And I'm just going through all the way through January. And so today is what's your favorite show, and a Star Wars show. And so I'm going to be posting it, and then I'm going to be encouraging people to comment their favorite show as well in the comments and to share it, and then I'll post it on my story. But yeah, so go ahead and do that, please. And that's about all that I have. And then stay tuned for the rest of the month, and I'm going to be posting a lot more on my Instagram. It's at Twin Sun Talks. So yeah, that's about it. You've taken your first steps into a larger world. May the Force be with you, and I will see y'all in the next episode. Bye, friends.